Good morning. This is H coming at you with another Autodesk Inventor 2023 tutorial. This video is just going to be real quick, kind of abbreviated version of a tutorial for the Fillet tool. And we're going to be looking at the Fillet tool with using a 3D material, right? So this is in the modify section of the ribbon of Inventor. So a little bit of review here. We're in the 3D model tab. We're looking at the ribbon to the modify section here, the modify panel, and we're looking at the fillet command, right? So the fillet command is what we're looking at. And there's some other options here as well, face fillet and full round fillet, which are options as well. And you can see the description here, but we're going to be talking about probably the most used beginner tool, which is this fillet tool here. So this works only for part files that have been made with 3D material already extruded or revolved, anything that's in the create panel, right? So extrude, revolve, sweep, loft, and the create panel makes that 3D material, creates it. The modify panel here, all these modify already existing 3D material. So very, very basic. So the fillet tool, if we click on it, it's going to open up this window here. Now this window here, there's a lot of different options and a lot of different things going on. There's a little window that's here as well. This little guy here is important. Okay. So we got a lot of different things going on. The most basic is the constant radius edge set, right? So if I wanted to fill it, say this edge of material, because you always want to click on what edge you're rounding off, because a fillet just takes that corner and rounds it off at a certain radius, at a certain distance, right? So that's what the yellow one is there. If I change this size, I can change the size to the 2.5, and you can see that it's changing the radius of that curve that is there. Okay, so this is the very basic function of the radius, the fillet tool. And you can click on, again, any radius, any edge, and turn it into a filleted edge. I'm just going to kind of click on almost like everything that's visible to me from this point of view, just to show you all, right? So you can fillet a lot of a lot of places as long as it has an edge there to be filleted, a corner that's going to be filleted. So, and that is a constant radius edge, right? Constant radius means that it's always going to be the 0.125 inch radius of all these curves, because, and it's constant, so it remains the same all the way through. Very important. Okay, let's cancel this and go back into it to look at some other ideas. The other idea is, instead of being a fillet that's rounding a corner like that, you can have it go inverted. And so it's rounding the corner, but it's cutting that distance into the part. So this is kind of a different kind of scenario here, right? And if we click on all these again, it's going to do the inverted fillet, right? The invert, it's cutting material out kind of opposite of what it was doing before. I'm all lost here in the view cube. There we go. Now we're feeling better, right? So this inverted, and again, this option is just done right here. So there's tangent, which is this is the common. There it is again. Or there's the smooth G2, which is just a smooth version of it, right? But tangent's really the common item here, and inverted is the other common one here as well. So the inverted is a good one to know about, because if you have an inverted fillet, it's kind of cutting that radius into the part opposite of kind of rounding it off, from the outside. Okay, so let me hit cancel one more time here, and we'll go to the fillet tool again. And now we have other options here. We have an add variable radius fillet. Now, if I click on this, I need to determine what the behavior is. So here, where the green is, right, where this is close to me here, I can change this to 0.25. And so now the fillet's going to start large on this side, and it's going to get smaller on this other end, right? So the position, like the positions are there. And we can change these positions. There's different ways to do that. And we can make either tangent or smooth G2. There's no option here for the inverted. right? With a variable radius fillet. A variable, it just means it changes, right? It starts as one size dimension fillet, the 0.25, and it ends as another sizing. So let me hit cancel real quick. Go back into fillet again. Now we're back to constant edge again, right? So we have add variable radius fillet or add a corner setback, which again, if we add a corner setback, it's just going to set back the corner of from where it actually is. Let me hit cancel real quick and get back in there. So we can do those kind of things. So we can select section priority to edges or priority to loops or priority to features, right? So what this means is if we want a constant radius set, but we want it to be to a loop, we can select the entire loop here, right? The entire top of that. That's what this changes, right? Let's go back into it. So the original is set to edge, like you click on an edge and edge and edge. But if you have multiple that you need to select and it's all the same, you can go to the loop priority and select like the entire top, and then boom, you have the whole thing filleted just like that. There's our fillet there in the browser and we're good, right? Let's undo that. Control Z is our friend. And go back to fillet. So there's a lot of things you can do with here, adding variable radius, corner setbacks. But again, the most commonly used item here is the constant radius edge. And then it's just determined like, is it just going to be one edge? Do you need to select a loop? Do you want to select a whole feature, right? The entire feature could be, there it is, like the entire thing, every single edge is all filleted just like that in one go. Right, so that if all things are filleted in a whole feature, a whole body, a whole extrusion, right, a whole thing here, extrusion one, that's one way to do it, and it's going to extrude, or sorry, it's going to fillet every single edge of this particular part, right? And that's the fillet tool. Let's Control Z it again. There it is. And that's the fillet tool. Very simple. It's just determining what size you want things to be, what you're actually selecting and clicking on. Again, the most common is just constant radius, but there is a way to have a radius change as it
Good morning,
moves
everyone.
on that
Got a
edge.
couple of announcements
Right.
for today. I got two buses.
Y'all have a great day.
1831 is going to ride bus